So I went through and tried this one several times and then discovered they messed up one thing at the very beginning to make it where it just wouldn't work. So let me show you where that's at. So the changing summer to winter using adjustment layers. This one's a little bit more advanced doing some of the hue and saturation settings, but let me show you where the main spot was that was messed up. And then we'll just continue on. So from here, we're going to make a new adjustment layer on and convert this to black and white. The main reason we're doing this is so that we can actually start controlling certain colors to really brighten just those up. So what we're going to need to do though is change the blending mode of this all the way down to the bottom to luminosity. Now, right now, nothing is really happening. It's actually taken away all of the black and white, but this white that we're going to be adding is going to be on this layer. So this next piece here, what we're going to do is make sure you have the actual adjustment, not the mask, selected. And then we're going to set the red slider to about -10. We're going to come in here to the yellows and bring those up to about 150 and the greens to about 110. So you'll notice by having the luminosity, what it's done is it's starting to kind of lighten up the grass. Now we're going to go to next. That was for all of the colors. So that was setting up every single color that was there. But what we're going to do now is we're going to go in and do a hue and saturation to start modifying even more. So I'm going to come here to hue and saturation, and I'm going to hit next. And then I'm going to come up here at the top. This is the master drop-down window. This is showing all the reds, yellow, greens, cyans, blues, and magentas. So specifically, it wants us to go to the yellows. So we're going to make separate adjustments for several different channels of color. So from here, we're going to set the saturation to about -95. So it starts to strip some of the color out. And we're going to increase the lightness to +95. So it actually makes it a little bit more white. Then we'll hit next. Then we'll open up the color drop down again, but this time we'll choose the greens because that was giving us this bottom portion. Now we want to get some stuff into the trees. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to drop the saturation almost to 0, where it's almost going to make it pure white. And then we're going to change the lightness of all of these to +95. So we're basically doubling the amount from where it started. And then I'm going to hit next. And then now I'm going to go up and now I'm going to play around with the red channels. So we'll go reds. And for the reds, we're only going to move this. We're going to set the saturation up to about 50. This is going to help bring out some of the color within the shack. And then we're going to change the lightness to only about 15. So it's just a little bit of white added into that. Then I'm going to hit next. And now it really does work best when there's a lot of green that's happening using this effect. There are other ways to create a snow type effect. There's actually some filters that we could play around with. But for this was a really quick, easy way to do it where we took the whites, we converted it to black and white. But the key thing they missed in explaining in the video, or the step-by-step, I should say, was converting this to luminosity. Because without this being luminosity, it's just a straight black and white image with absolutely no changes. Once I go here, this is why it's so tricky with these programs, because especially following other tutorials, because literally it could be one thing. Here, we made so many changes on the hue and saturation, the separate channels and everything. And just because this one little adjustment layer wasn't done, nothing was working. So be patient, keep working through the stuff. You're doing a great job, and let's do the next tutorial.